And we are back to talk about the latest thing happening in Star Wars, which is Star Wars: The Acolyte. Set before the Phantom Menace, 100 years before the Phantom Menace, towards the end of the High Republic era, which is like this era of the Republic Jedi where they're going out exploring and bringing the Outer Rim into the fold and all that. So, yeah, there's no Sidious, there's no Anakin, nothing like that. No droid Federation thing. It's all completely uncharted territory.
I have to say, a lot of the reviews are mixed out there. Um, yeah, and so I don't know how other people are gonna take it. But what did you think, Carmine? What
Well,
do you
before
think?
we get to that, I think we need to make it very clear to the audience that a lot of reviewers that you guys have probably already seen or maybe have heard from, they saw the first 4 episodes, which is half the season. Press and I, we don't have Press Pass, so we have only seen the first 2, like everybody else, when it dropped. So, yeah. It's also very clear that this is getting review bombed, and it was getting review bombed way before it even came out from the audience. So the reviews aren't really that mixed in the sense where it's like people are saying it's bad, people are saying it's good. What I keep hearing the most is that people are saying it's pretty good to it's fairly mid. But for the most part, there's people who already saw a good chunk of the show, so they have more information than we do.
Okay, so it's like they're going on different information than us.
Yes, that is correct. And the unfortunate, sad reality of covering new Star Wars shows is that because of the grifters and how they have like an armada of people coming out to dislike everything that people like or are lukewarm on, the sad reality is that I'm fully expecting my like-dislike ratio bar to look like an actual lightsaber, so that's kind of cool. But for the most part, yeah, I just watched it, and I gotta say, I'm embarrassed for some of these grown-ass adults out here raging over something this mid. And I'm just going based off the first 2 episodes. It's okay. Like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. And to be fair, I had the same reactions for the first 2 episodes of Andor until the third hooked me in completely. Because the first you have to watch the first 3 episodes together of Andor. You can't just watch just 2 and fall back on it. But maybe I'm going to like it more after these first 2 episodes. But as of right now, as it stands, it's fine. It's okay. I liked the mystery until they shot themselves in the foot. But for the most part, it's there. It's fine.
My opinion is that it was pretty good. I'm going higher than mid. I actually think it's
Ooh.
pretty good. I think I like it more than The Mandalorian. I certainly don't
Oh.
like it as much as Andor. No, it doesn't approach Andor.
Oh,
However,
no. Nothing's gonna touch Andor. That's not gonna happen.
no, it doesn't approach and it doesn't come close to an Andor. But I think it's much better than Mandalorian, and I think it's much
Already
better
on
than
2
Mandalorian.
episodes.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed the first 2 episodes. The first episode was great. Second episode, a little bit of a drop off, but still pretty good. And I'll tell you why. Like, it's not that the show is not without its flaws. It's weirdly edited. They end episodes very strangely.
Abruptly. It's almost like it was
Yeah.
filmed as like one giant thing, and they're like, look,
Yeah.
this can't be a fucking 8-hour movie. We gotta chop this up.
There's timing issues, events happening right after each other that you'd think that there would be some space. However, like, that's all really minor. I'll say this about the show. And this is a big problem with Star Wars. Generally, the problem with Star Wars is you have a lot of flat characters, mostly flat characters. I think the Acolyte characters are all really strong. I think they're really fucking great. I think each character is really quite unique, and I really like their personality. I know I saw some criticism that was like all these Jedis are boring, but no, I think that there's some interesting subtle differences between them, and I think the action, the fighting scenes are the best I've seen in Star Wars. I mean, besides like maybe the Phantom Menace. Okay, I'll grant that the Phantom Menace is much better than this, but like the fight scenes were like the best fight scenes I've seen in Star Wars, the most
They're
interesting.
kung fu. It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Jedi.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it's new and it's fresh and it's interesting. I mean, even beyond the kung fu, they do really interesting things. Like in that final episode, to get out of the her fight to escape, she uses the Force to kick up a bunch of dust and blind everybody so she can escape. That's really clever. They should do that a lot, you know. Or like in the opening shot, and I'm gonna spoil this, like the way she like is able to kill the Jedi by tricking the Jedi by preying on the Jedi's weakness of, you know, compassion and wanting to protect other people. That was really clever. That was great, you know. So I really enjoy the fight scenes. I think each of the characters is great. I really like all of the characters. Like I don't think there's none of these, like, you know how people are really sick of the badass character who's just good at everything? There's no badass characters. Everybody has a weakness. Everybody is imperfect. And I don't know. It was and it was really like the first episodes. I was drawn in by the fact I was like, wait a minute. In the first scene, this woman had killed somebody, and now she's supposed to be the protagonist. I don't understand. Like I was confused enough where I was like, I need to keep watching. And I don't know. There was some really, I think there was really great acting, really great. The set design looks great. The aliens looked great. The only thing that was a little weird was the editing, but no, I think this is a really fucking good series. I don't know.
I agree with you
So
on the
far,
visuals.
2 episodes.
Like it was I think I read it was like over $100 million budget, and yeah, that fucking shows. If there's one
Yeah, it
thing
looks
that
great.
the Disney Plus Star Wars shows don't skimp out on is like making it look like movie quality level stuff. So
Right, and they kind of did it because Andor looks great, but Andor does it by kind of bleaching the light and making everything look tired and gray and stuff and gritty. Like the Acolyte makes everything look great, but everything is it's all very vibrant, which is it's a type of setting that we haven't really seen yet. You know, a way of filming that we haven't seen with Star Wars.
did you notice they fixed that problem you were having with all the Jedi having Uncle Owen's robes, and that became like the standard Jedi outfit?
Right, and then they put them in different costumes. I thought the costumes were great, and they kind of like, you know, can get away with it because it's of a different time. But when Osha's old friend from
Yord.
Yord. Yeah, Yord. I just know him because the showrunner is Leslye Headland, who did Russian Doll, and he's the actor that plays Yord. His name's Charlie Barnett. He's I mean, Russian Doll was fucking great. I mean, I think it was my favorite show of the year it came out. So like he's one of the two leads. Somewhat similar character actually, but so I mean, it may be just that Leslye Headland is really great and she knows how to like make an interesting show. Because I mean, what she did with Russian Doll season 1 was outstanding. So, you know, it's I don't really have too many complaints. Like I think it's like a really strong show, but at least 2 episodes in, you know. So you only thought it was mid. Explain yourself.
I thought the characters were fine. The actors are doing a good job, but I didn't expect much of a connection from the order of monks who suppress all emotion. Like, I got that. But I do like how they're more fleshed out than the previous Jedi characters we've gotten. Like how Yord is the by-the-book, follow-the-rules guy. Jeki is inquisitive and respectful. Sol is kind and understanding. Vernestra is supposed to be our first look at how the Jedi lost their way with the Order, focusing on wasting time with pointless bullshit than taking action. It's really up to the non-Jedi characters and the other secondary characters to do the emotional heavy lifting.
I agree with you that the non-Jedi are more interesting. Like for instance, Kamir, was that his name? The smuggler who was like selling the poison. Like he was
interesting.
He was really like sleazy, great character. I mean, imagine if they had him instead of instead of what's his face in
Benicio del Toro, who was DJ. Don't join. That's what it's for.
Yeah. imagine if they had him instead of Benicio del Toro. Like, he would have fit the movie a lot better, right? Like, he pulled off the slimy but likable guy just a lot better. He was great. The actor is Manny Jacinto. Your boy Tommen was in the show. That was pretty neat.
I don't think we've seen him yet.
No, Tommen was the floating Jedi.
No.
Yeah.
Tommen was Torben? No way.
Yeah.
I know he was going to be in the show, but hold on a minute.
Tommen is Torben. He's the floating Jedi.
Get the fuck out of here. How? Oh, this is a fucking flashback.
They put makeup on him and beard and receding hairline stuff, but
look at this. Can I send this to you on should I send it to you here on Facebook?
Sure.
Okay. Here, look at this. That's what I see. Oh, great. It puts up a big picture. That doesn't look like him. I have the episode right here. That's Tommy.
I mean, it sounds like they're gonna do a flashback.
Flashback, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that. Good on him for getting roles beyond game. I mean, he's in it for like 5 minutes.
He was good. He was really good. He was a completely different kind of guy, And I thought that concept. I understand that the concept was taken from a comic book, but like that was. It was pretty neat when they went in and like he's just floating there and she's like trying to. I mean, I really enjoyed that scene, So,
she can't penetrate his defenses because like he's just so good in the Force.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The fights are so good. That was her like fighting nothing, and it was so interesting. That fight with Trinity at the beginning was really interesting.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a lot of. I don't know how I feel about like the blatant movie references that they throw in.
What do you mean?
Because obviously, like, okay, well, there was the Fugitive reference that they have in there, like the obvious Fugitive movie reference where they're chasing after her and she comes to the end of the tunnel and she's over the cliff and she's like, I didn't do it, and you're like, oh, right, from the Fugitive. Like they like set it up purposely. And clearly, like, they use the actress for Trinity at the beginning because who is, like, stopping blades with her, like, hands and everything, just like in The Matrix. Like, they're making movie references in the show. There's a bunch of these. But I imagine there's more. I'm sure, like, people in the comments will catch more. But clearly they, like, reference The Matrix and then they reference the Fugitive one. The Fugitive one was very blatant. But... that I thought was a little kind of, it took me out of it a little bit. I mean, it's like they're funny and all, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it should be in Star Wars, but I don't know, it was fine. But I don't know.
There's just something about this show that's not really connecting with me too much, though I do appreciate the background lore. When we first see the Jedi in the prequels, they are not as widespread out as they are right now. Because apparently there's like Jedi enclaves all across the galaxy on different worlds. Jedis are posted everywhere, almost like an embassy. Like they have like their own embassy on like different worlds. That's super cool. The characters aren't really connecting with me as much. Maybe I need to give it a couple more episodes. But visually it looks great. The acting is fine. Like to me it's fine. It's not bad. But I'm not over here like, wow, this is getting interesting, like I did with Andor in the 3rd episode. And you're right, this is something that was my issue with Andor too. Every episode ends abruptly. Like it was filmed as one giant film, and they just chopped it up and just inserted it in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just there's so like that action scene where she's trying to escape for like that, where they're on the ship, and those weirdos are like, we're gonna do a mutiny. And then they take the escape pods. I thought that was like a really hilarious scene. I don't know. It was really fun. It didn't. The only thing was, again, like I thought that scene was wonderful. Like they all run in the pod, and then she frees the other guy, and he takes the other pod, and you're like, that's pretty funny, That, and then what's weird though is the editing right after, where in the next scene they're all captured and in jail. And you're like, oh, I thought there would be some more time. Feels like there should be some more scenes in between those two things, but it was fine. Like the scene, I really I thought that scene of the escape from the ship was so fun, but I don't know. So, like I say, it's not perfect, but I will definitely say that this is the second best Star Wars series that we've been given. Certainly better than Book of Boba Fett. Certainly better than Ahsoka. Certainly better than Mandalorian season 1, 2, or 3. Certainly better than Obi-Wan.
We'll see. We'll see. We're only 2 episodes in. But I have to say, there's one thing that really irked the hell out of me, and it kind of killed my enjoyment of these episodes, is that the mystery setup of who this assassin is awesome. I thought they were going to do some kind of psychological thing where, like, Osha really is the assassin, but she keeps saying she's not, and she's telling the truth, but at the same time not, because, yes, she is the assassin, but it's like a split personality type of situation. Like, her other persona, for whatever reason, wants to kill these people, but she, as Osha, doesn't want to do that, so... Like, I thought they were going to do that type of psychological thing, which would have been great. And the whole mystery would have been, like, throughout the show would have been, wait, is she telling the truth? Did she really not do it? Or, like, is she the culprit? Like, what's going on here? Making you question yourself. Like, I thought that was where we were going. And then they kind of dropped the ball on that in the second episode. For a mystery thriller, they answer the mystery too soon.
I do agree with you that it felt really weird that the mystery of why, like the mystery that pulled me into the show, which was, wait a minute, I saw this woman kill somebody in the first scene, and now it seems like she hasn't killed the person. And so my first, like, I was like, what's the mystery? Is it a shapeshifter? You know, like that was the first thing in my mind, like, oh, it's a shapeshifter that's like taking on her identity, you know, and I was like, they could have made the whole series that mystery, right?
Yep.
Like, what exactly is it?
And it wraps up way too quickly. And it's like, twins? What?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, twins are a pretty played out concept. I hated it in Return of the Jedi, and that was 1983. Yeah, like the twins aspect is weird. Clearly, and then you think the twin is in her head, but then you find out the twin isn't in her head because neither one of the twins knew that the other was alive.
Right. And we'll have to see what happened back in the day with them, but we haven't had that type of psychological thriller from live action Star Wars, and it would have been so good because it did start out like that, but then they dropped the ball so hard on one of its main mysteries, in my opinion. Right. I'm sure someone will disagree, but funny enough, the type of story I'm talking about has been done before, and only a very few select Star Wars nerds know about it. Are you familiar with the 2003 comic Dark Journey?
Remind me, Dark Journey. I mean, the problem is that it's named so poorly. How many things have dark and...
Do you mind if I tell you about it?
Yeah, tell me again.
So I'm going to read the wiki synopsis because it's faster. So it says here... Set during the Clone Wars, Jedi Videl has ignored the call of the Jedi Council to take a position as a general. Instead, she is tracking a serial killer called Cardem as vengeance for the murder of her boyfriend, this guy named Ash. Since Ash, Cardem has only killed female Twi'leks, but more disturbing is his method of killing, using a lightsaber and Force lightning, indicating that he is a Dark Jedi. So Videl follows Cardem's trail of hints and finds his 8th victim. At the same time that she finds this victim, a hooded figure approaches and calls her by name. They fight, but the figure disarms her and tells her that he has come to take her back to the Jedi Council. Videl retaliates with Force lightning, and as the Jedi calls out to her, she responds that her name is Cardem. It's revealed that Videl is Cardem. She discovered her boyfriend Ash with a Twi'lek dancing girl, and in her rage, killed him and her, creating the dark side mental persona of Cardem in the process. From then on, she had killed female Twi'leks in the Cardem persona, then investigated the murders in the Videl persona. The Jedi who came to capture her says that he was sent to bring her back, dead or alive. So she calls upon the powers of the dark side as Cardem, kills him with Force lightning and a lightsaber. She then reverts back to the Videl persona and is shocked to find that Cardem has claimed yet another victim, this time a Jedi, to which she reaffirms her vow to bring the killer to justice. This was a really cool story. I really liked it, and I was hoping they would do something like this.
I mean, I understand what they're doing. Like there's still a lot of mysteries in the show. And so it's sort of like we have a whole bunch of mysteries, and we're going to answer a few each time, because we still don't know what really happened when they were kids. We don't know what sin the 4 Jedi had. We don't know who that dark Jedi is. We don't know why she doesn't use weapons, or I mean, she doesn't use lightsabers to kill the Jedi. You know, there's still a lot of mysteries out there.
My assumption is that the Sith guy is basically training her, and one of the trainings is basically complete this task but don't use weapons. Complete this task but complete it this way. That was my understanding of the situation. So he's giving her quests on how to approach the situation and giving her specific instructions. You can kill them however you want, but you got to kill this one this way. Kill this one this way. Because as far as I know, there's only 2 mysteries left. Who's the dark sider, and who is, and what the 4 did in their past. However, I feel as though if you're gonna pay out the ass for Trinity, you probably shouldn't have her in just the first 5 minutes. I think she's gonna
be in the flashback. They're gonna do a flashback of what happened, like clearly. Right. She's in so much of the promo material. We have Tommen in old man makeup. You know, they've
so
got
weird, man. So
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
I didn't realize that was Tommen.
No, there's more mysteries than that. There's like, who's in her head? Is it the Dark Jedi? How do they do that? Why do they think each other are dead? Like, you know, there seems to maybe a conspiracy among the Jedi at the temple. You know, there's some stuff. There's a lot still going on. But
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I do think Trinity is the Darksider.
She's the Darksider, and yet she selflessly saved that bartender.
Something's going on here. Like, look, you don't pay out the ass for this woman and like not make her part of like Star Wars mythos. I think it's all a ruse. I think it's like a fake. It has to be a fake out. It has to be. Kill Trinity. Trinity's whole plan, in my opinion, would be like have her fake her own death. That way she can move about freely.
Yeah. I like that. For some reason, the Jedi are named better names. Like, everybody in this is named a better name. You know how, like, normally Star Wars, people's names are, like, just random gibberish? Like,
yes.
You know, Tuckmore, actually be more like Daimo, Tweefo. You know, and you're like, oh my God, like, how am I supposed to remember that? Like,
you mean like Kit Fisto?
Right.
Yes,
you know, it doesn't matter, right? Like, but for some reason, even though, so here, I seem to remember him because one, Osha was obviously from Ice and Fire, but then May is like a regular name. Sol, you just associate it with like, you know, the sun. Mm-hmm. Yord, like it sounds almost like a real name. So, the same with Jecki. It's like close enough to like Ford or Jackie.
Yep.
You know, like they've done a better job in naming the characters so that I can actually like remember them. You know, so I love Star Wars, but I hate Star Wars names. I hate Qui-Gon Jinn. I hate that name.
Qui-Gon Jinn. You don't like Kenobi? Come on.
Well, because his name was Ben.
That's true.
You're you know, like in the beginning they had normal names. Luke, Ben, Han, Leia. Those are real names. Owen. Only one that's kind of off is Beru. No one's named Beru. But then they all start getting weird, you know.
You're right. The Jedi, the Jedi of the old of the prequels really did have like ridiculous Kit Fisto, Kiadi-Mundi,
Mace Windu. Like, just, I mean, we've said them now. Like, now it's been like 30 years, and we've said them over and over again. So they're like in people's heads, but it's just they're baby sounds. It's just like you've had a baby name everything randomly.
That's true.
So, how are you on everybody's performances? What do you think of Amandla Stenberg, who is the one that plays Osha and May?
Everyone, for me, everyone is fine. It's like I said, the secondary characters and even Osha, it will have to do the emotional uplifting. But because the Jedi, once again, you know, I don't really expect much from them. But everyone is fine. To me, everyone is fine.
That's the thing, is they picked some really strong actors for this show. Like Daphne Keane, she's you know, you know her from the Wolverine.
Right.
I know her from His Dark Materials. She's really good. She's just really good and a strong actor. Like I say, this Charlie Barnett from Russian Doll is really excellent.
Lee Jung-jae from
Lee
Squid Game.
Jung-jae from Squid Game. He has really he's a facial performer. I mean that sounds gross, but like I'm saying his acting is all in his face. He's very good at emoting, and it's, you know, it's a challenge for him because he's speaking, you know, he's saying his lines and not his first language, but he's doing all his heavy lifting with his face. So he does a really good job, and yeah, I think the lead is pretty strong. So yeah, and all these secondary characters are like, each secondary character is more interesting than the next. You know, all these little smugglers and everything. Anyway, people are going to be like, "What? Preston likes something?" But I thought this was pretty good.
Oh, I'm surprised. You're normally very nitpicky.
Well, maybe my expectations were so fucking low because it's a Star Wars series. It might be it. I mean, it might be that like I just compare it to the previous Star Wars series, and I think it's just like so much better than everything that's come before it, except for Andor.
That's the thing. Even though you can be very nitpicky, I know you well enough to know, like, you don't go into anything wanting to hate it. You want to enjoy things. Same with me. I want to enjoy everything, and if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Like Mando season 3 just wasn't good.
I think I've enumerated all of the things that I thought were wrong with this show. You know, right? I also think it's a remarkable coincidence. I mean, I will say that this is really stupid. Osha and May don't know of each other's existence. So why do they have the same fucking haircut? Like, there's no way that randomly two women would choose that haircut, like, independently.
You say that, but how many times have we read stories about long lost twins who kind of led somewhat similar lives and styles? Who come together and like, wow, we dress alike, we have our hair the same way, and so on and so forth. We're in the same field. It's happening quite often.
You're saying that they have a twin connection, or perhaps they have a force connection on top of the twin connection. So even though that they're separated by many, many light years of space, they have such a connection that they are going to have the same hairstyle. See, when I saw May, when I realized there were two of them, I was like, oh, May must be intentionally impersonating Osha, and that's why she chose the same haircut.
Same
but
here,
then you find out that no, neither one of them knew each other. The other one was alive. So she chose that haircut on her own. They better explain the fucking haircut, man. They better explain the hair. Because, like, I understand that they had somewhat the same haircut when they were younger. Like, they showed the flashback to them being, like, younger girls. But, like, the length change. They would have to choose, like, the same length. Like, in the same rounding of the face, you know, and all of that with it. I hope they explain the haircut, man. I understand that you want the mystery. You want the mystery explained of, like, who the Dark Jedi is and, like, what happened back with, like, the four and everything. I want an explanation of why they have the same fucking haircut.
I'm telling you, man. Dark Jedi is going to end up being Master and Dar. It's going to be Trinity. I'm telling you right now. Expecting it.
Trinity going to be the villain? I don't know. They haven't introduced us to the fourth Jedi, right?
They have. Yeah, we know all four Jedi. It was Tommen, Trinity, the Wookiee guy, and Master Soul.
Oh, the Wookiee is the fourth.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did not know that the Wookiee was the fourth.
Yep. Okay. So first time we're seeing a Wookiee Jedi on screen. We've seen it all the time in like books and comics, and I think there was a video game, but this is the first time we're seeing it on screen. Which, okay, I want to see how that plays out. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it would be any different than anything else.
By the way,
right.
before we wrap up the conversation, There is one thing that has a lot of Star Wars fans scratching their head and being annoyed, which is a line in Phantom Menace that Ki-Adi-Mundi says where he goes, "But the Sith have been extinct for over a millennia." True. So everyone
see how you gave that name and it was just fucking gibberish. Like yes, but yeah. Continue. Okay, yes.
So apparently the Sith have not been seen in over a millennia, meaning everyone who sees, and we do see in the trailer that dark sider with the red lightsaber, they will fight the Jedi. So every Jedi that sees that red lightsaber has to die.
Right. Well, look. I think it might be that like not every, just like in fucking Ahsoka, not every dark Jedi has to be a Sith.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
So,
but the whole thing was touted as like this whole like the origins of the Sith and like a Sith story.
Maybe, or like the Knights of Ren or whatever, So yeah, you're saying in a millennia, and this takes place what, like 200 years before?
100 years before Phantom Menace.
100 years before Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have minded if it were 1,000 years before Phantom Menace. Get some distance on stuff, but okay, 100 years before Phantom Menace. Maybe I don't know. Maybe time dilation across the galaxy, 1,000 years, 100 years.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm willing to hold my judgment on the whole thing until episode 8. I'm down to cover it episode by episode or every 2 episodes. I'm fine with that. But on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give this show?
I mean, I'm gonna give it a solid like 7.5 or 8. I'd say definitely watch. Yeah. Like I say, like it's not Andor, which is a good 9 or 10 out of 10. I mean, I voted Andor the best show of the year. This is better than Mandalorian, better than Ahsoka, better than Obi-Wan, better than Boba Fett so far. 2 episodes in, but quite liking it. It's really fun. It's a really fun show. Really great characters, in my opinion. Carmine thinks they're a little more boring than I do, but we both seem to agree that the action is really good. Some of the best action we've ever seen. And
action is good. It makes sense that the Jedi can fucking fight. Like they would have to. So it makes sense they can fight. I would give it a 6 out of 10. I'm in the middle. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad.
What did you give Ahsoka?
I was really enjoying Ahsoka. It had some stupid stuff, but Ahsoka has some good. It set up some good stuff.
See, the thing is,
awesome.
This is the thing. Here's the thing.
You think it's all nostalgia?
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing: is you are there's so much that's part of you because you are a Star Wars cartoon watcher and a Star Wars extended universe kind of. I promise you, that's not it. That you get little nostalgias about like what they showed in Star Wars lore and what they're referencing back to. This is all original shit. Like there's no references or next to no references to like the previous Star Wars universe. And so you're just kind of like drifting without your, I recognize that stuff.
I promise you, I'm not one of those guys. I promise you. I hate it all, but you're talking about fan service. It's not fan service.
Yeah.
I promise you it's not that.
There's very little fan service so far. I mean, they showed the Trade Federation. Like she was on a Trade Federation ship.
They didn't give him like the accent. That was a little problematic.
Yeah, they took away the racist Asian accent. Good call. Good call, though. It's a very good call. I mean, now we know that the Trade Federation has many different accents, and now that's canon. But yeah, very few fan servicey moments. Unlike
I
Ahsoka,
promise you, I really did like Ahsoka's first 2 episodes. I did have some issues with it. I hate how in the Disney era, lightsabers kind of don't do what they're supposed to do, which is fuck you up. I hated that Sabine was stabbed in the fucking abdomen and somehow still fucking survived that. That's some bullshit.
All we're seeing is Jedi's dropping dead right and left. So That's all we're seeing in Acolyte. So,
But no, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm a Star Wars fan. I want to see Star Wars do good. A lot of the reviewers keep saying that it's like reminiscent of Andor. It has that like feel and tone. I don't agree with that right now. My opinion may change as we get to more episodes. So I'm hoping everything turns out pretty good, because once again with Andor, didn't really like the first two. I thought, like, what was this? Then the third episode pulled it all together, and I really started liking the hell out of it. So hopefully we have that situation here. But for the most part, yeah, as of right now, I'm okay on it. Do you mind if we wrap it up here?
sure.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.